Jeff is Jeff Judkins, the BYU women's basketball coach who joins us now in Studio B. What's up, Jeff?
What's up, you guys?
Okay, basketball scheduling is kind of a different setup. Tom Homo will schedule football, but typically the other sports will schedule themselves, right? Like
Correct.
You guys do the schedule.
Correct. I have my assistant coach, Dan Nilsson, does my schedule, and a lot of what he tries to do is RPI and try to figure out cost, what trips, cost us money. So we go on, let's say we go to a East Coast swing, we play 2 games instead of 1 game because it costs us a lot less to do that. And when I first got into coaching, Coach Majerus told me something. He said there's 3 things that are important to being a good coach. One is to get good players. Number 2 is to get good coaches that can help your players. And number 3 is know how to schedule. And it's really hard to try to do that sometimes, especially when nobody wants to play you, or you can't get a team that's maybe equal to you to play you because they don't want to do that. They'd rather play a lower team or play a big 5 team and get paid a lot of money to go play. So it's a difficult task, and I understand with this football how hard it is, and what they're trying to accomplish and what they're trying to do. For us, I scheduled too hard this year. I went 5-6. I probably should have cut 2 games, won those games, gone maybe 6 or gone maybe 8-5 or whatever, 8-3, and maybe that'd have been better for my team. But if I won those games this year, we would have been ranked. We would have been a high RPI, and then we would have had a for sure shot of getting to the NCAA tournament.
Is there an acknowledgement, and this is what I'm getting at too, is okay, we aspire to be great, right? And that's BYU. BYU is very aspirational.
Yes.
Goals are high, right? And it comes, I think, from the theology of the church. Aim high, right? But a point where you go, okay, what's realistic for this team, this group, what we can do? In football, it's a little harder. You have to schedule like years out. Basketball, you're like a year or 2 out.
It's about a year. It's about a year. We're almost done with our schedule for next year.
So you can manage it a little bit more. Okay, this team's been this way. Yeah.
And try to do a better job with that. And we'll have a little bit more control. And, our administration's been great. They tell me, you do what you think is best for your team. We support you 100%. And Brian, who is over women's basketball, he'll sometimes come to me and say, hey, you need to try to schedule maybe a little tougher game on the road, or hey, try to see if we can get us a better home game. Like this year, we brought Montana State in at home just to have them come in and play us, no return. And it was a positive thing for us because they're a good team. They're going to be in the top 4 of their league, but it was a good game for us to be able to win. So it's tough. Scheduling's not as easy as everybody thinks it is.
Sure.
Well, one team that you did not have to schedule is St. Mary's because they're in conference. You're playing St. Mary's tomorrow night. The men's team is on the road at St. Mary's. So we were kind of talking about rivalries. And in the conference, who's BYU's rival? Is it St. Mary's? Is it Gonzaga? For you as a player, you were lucky enough in college playing at Utah. You obviously had a rival. You played in the pros with some pretty good rivals. Who was your biggest rival when you played on any level?
Well, when I played in college, it was no question, it was BYU. I mean, they're in the league, you're fighting for a title, with them, a conference championship, and 40 miles south of Salt Lake, and so that was by far in college the biggest rival. In the NBA, it was the Lakers. It was the Lakers and 76ers when I played for the Celtics. When I played for the Trailblazers, it was Seattle. It was kind of, and then when I played in Detroit, it was Chicago. So it's kind of weird how location causes a lot of things. And I would say now for me, coaching in the league right now, it's Gonzaga, St. Mary's. It's, and probably San Diego's in there. San Diego's been very good in the women's side for a long, long time. So those are the schools that, we kind of know we need to take care of business with. And, St. Mary's now has beaten me 3 times. So I had him 4-0, and now he's won 3 games. So this is going to be a game for us Thursday night. We got to take care of business.
St. Mary's and BYU on BYUtv tomorrow night, 9 Eastern time for the women. The men on the road, 11 Eastern. So it's one of those situations where you can watch both tomorrow, which is great. They don't go head-to-head. the makings of a rival is interesting. So obviously BYU and Utah, it's just there, man. Like
It's
for
there.
all the reasons.
No matter how good the teams are,
Yeah.
it's there.
And then there's other teams. So when BYU came into the West Coast Conference, I thought Gonzaga would be the primary rival. It is not. There's this healthy respect on the men's side. Gonzaga is what it is. BYU is what it is. St. Mary's is the rival, man. And I think there has to be like moments of vitriol and annoyance and hatred and whatnot that have made that. On the women's side, have you had that where, man, we just dislike this one team over another for some reason or whatever? Like for the men's, it's obviously St. Mary's.
I really don't think it's St. Mary's. I think the reason St. Mary's, I would say, is a rival for us is because you got to go through them and beat them to win the championship.
Like a competitive rival.
I am very good friends with Paul Thomas, who's the coach there. In fact, probably of all the coaches in the league, I'm probably the best, closest to him. So that part of it makes it a little bit easier. But his team is good, and his team's aggressive, and his team's physical. And we try to go at each other different ways with our philosophies of what we're trying to do. And so that makes it really, really competitive. I would say probably what you're talking about with the men's with St. Mary's, where it could be a lot of other things than just basketball. It's other. I would say that rival for us would probably be San Francisco, because they beat us in the conference championship. They beat us one time here when we were ranked in the top 20, and they came here and spanked us. And so that team is probably more of that in our side of it.
As you mentioned, St. Mary's has had some recent success against BYU. So what do you think the team needs to do to get over the hump tomorrow night? I know that the last time you faced each other this season, Sarah Hampson was not part of that game. So what needs to change?
Well, first of all, we've done a lot of research of how we played these guys. We went back for many years of. Right now, we cannot put them on the foul line. At our last game with them, they shot 27 foul shots to our 11. We can't do that. We've got to cut that down to 15. We've got to do a better job of taking care of the ball and getting a shot every time. They have a tendency to turn the ball over a little bit more than us, but they are a very good offensive rebounding team, so they make up for that. But we have to do a good job of not turning it over and taking the shot that we have. We shot a poor percentage against them, and there's a lot of reasons for it. One is their defense and how they play it, but the other part of it was I think we were a little too anxious. We got to be a little bit more patient, and I think if we can do that, the game will go in our favor.
Cassie
Devashrayee.
she's playing at a high level right now.
Yeah.
Is she where you want her to be on the court right now?
Yeah, I would say Cassie in the last 2 weeks is the Cassie that we saw last year. And I think there's some reasons for it. Number one is we brought Sarah in. Sarah takes up the middle, does some things, so that helps. Brenna has been playing a lot better, more consistent with scoring. Malia has come in and done some things more offensively for us. So I hope she keeps it up. I think she's playing with a lot of confidence, and this will be a big test for her.
All right, we usually ask you a non-basketball question. So now that we know we've got the Super Bowl matchup, are you one of those guys that roots against the team that always wins, speaking of the Patriots?
But you did live in Boston, so I
Yeah,
don't know
you
if
did
you have
live in
any
Boston.
loyalty there.
So
there is some loyalty.
what's your philosophy in rooting for a team in the Super Bowl? Do you always go underdog, or what's your thinking?
I go for who I think, what organization or what best player is a good guy. Is that kind of crazy?
Like that doesn't cheat, or what are we
Doesn't
talking
cheat.
about
Is that
Or
a
doesn't
comment on
say
Tom
dumb
Brady?
here?
things.
So Philadelphia.
Doesn't say dumb things, doesn't, but everybody thinks Tom Brady, he cheats, okay?
I think Belichick cheated.
Okay. Tom Brady, to me, is a class guy. And the way he runs himself, his life, the way he does everything is the way that a superstar should be doing it. And so I don't know. This could be a tough one because I do like the Eagles. They've never won one, so I kind of like the underdog. I just hope it's a great game. It comes right down the wire. And if it comes down the wire, the Patriots have the advantage. So, but it should be a fun game.
What are the odds, by the way, if at any point during your coaching career you will wear a cutoff hoodie to coach?
Like in practice.
Probably if we went under.
No, I want in the game.
Probably,
In the game?
probably if we won the conference over and over and over, and and we've got the in-state tournament, and we got the finals every year like that, I probably would do it.
Okay, that's it. Yeah.
That's it.
Jeff, we appreciate the time,
Hey,
man.
thanks, guys.